Today's video is a little bit of workflow and a little bit of inside of Blender. I want to talk a little bit about how to actually create renders quickly if you're on a time crunch, and how to use the resources and assets around you rather than getting stuck in this mindset that you need to make everything yourself. So let's jump into Blender and I'll show you what scene I'm going to walk you through. And we'll go through some different tips and tricks, including how I do simple condensation on my materials. So this is the scene here. So there's a few things going on. If I switch this into rendered view, this is the final render that I had. And so I'm going to start off with maybe some of the creative process. I believe that this is probably the most important part. So what I began with was sort of just a rough idea in my mind. Now, you will most likely have a client brief to follow. And this is how I would do it if I had a client brief. And so you begin with a bit of a mood board. I had this idea of using lilies in my model. I didn't know how yet to actually create a lily model, but I thought I'd work that out later. And then of course we're using cosmetics. And so what I generally do is I'm looking for references for realism, and I'm also then looking for material references, lighting references, and that sort of thing. So then I would usually jump to a sketch. And so I had a few sketches. I don't have them available right now to show you, but so I would jump down and do some sketches. And usually I'd rattle off the sketches fairly quick. So leaving a minute to 2 minutes per sketch, and do that for 30 minutes or so. You can leave it for a day and come back and actually do some more sketches. Sometimes leaving it and reviewing your ideas a day later gives you a fresh set of ideas. So then I actually jumped to Blender. And so then I had to work out how to actually execute this idea. So what I'm going to do is just go over sort of my thinking. So first of all, I would always drop in my cosmetic here, and you would either model this or find a model online. What I've started doing is creating an asset pack for the asset browser, and so I can just drag and drop in stuff that I've modeled before from previous jobs, and just drag and drop them in to my scenes. If you're a graphic designer and you would like to learn how to do this and actually charge money for the 3D renders and add it to your packaging design projects for your clients, then hit the top link in the description and take a look. I've built a program just for you. So hit the top link in the description and take a look. All right, so this here was pretty easy. I just dragged and dropped a cosmetic tube in for me to use. And then I have the shader editor here is just a metallic BSDF. I believe I've covered this in some other videos here. But this has just got some steel going on it. And I've just used this sort of pattern here. You can adjust this, right? So you could say really light brush steel. You could adjust the scale so it's super fine and work with it like that. So generally this is sort of the beginning process of 3D modeling. I just create a single render of this, get my lighting set up as close as possible, and just render out shot with just the model here. And then from there, you've got the beginnings of a file. So what you would do is save an increment of this. So you just go Control-Shift-S. And you would save a second version. I'd go to V2, save. And now I can start using some of the sketches that I've created and some of the ideas and start doing what's called look dev. And so this is where we start experimenting with different lighting, different models, all these different things. But creating this base file is important because it sets up your lighting and mood in the beginning and the look that you're going for the project. And you can come back and reference it if you need. So then what I had to do is I had this idea for a lily, and I actually wanted a peace lily, but I couldn't find any models within the budget. I didn't want to do this on an extreme budget. I wanted to use the existing files that I had, and I also didn't have a lot of time, so I couldn't model this myself. So what I did instead was looked at the resources that I already had, and one of them I have is Blender Kit, and I just looked for a lily, and it come up with this one here. And so you can import this just by clicking it, and that's failed to append. I'm not sure why. Hang on. So I've just jumped to a new Blender just because I was using beta and it wasn't importing the Blender kit like it was yesterday. Anyway, you're going to just select the flowers that you want. So I looked for this lily here, imported it, and then what you'll notice is this is all in one group. And this was sort of a little bit annoying. But the way we can break this apart is actually tab into edit mode and just hover over what you want to select and just press L, and you can select different bits. So L, and this is the bit that was a little bit annoying. Another thing you can do is just press C, that changes your selection type, and just select the center there. Right click and press Control L, that'll select linked. You can hover over and select the extra flowers. And then we're looking to select also the stem here, L. And then with all that selected, you just go P and separate the selection. So now you've got separate flowers outside. And I just did this for a couple of them. So what you can do is hide that flower and pick a few different ones. And so I picked one that was bent quite a bit, like this one here. Let's go C. We'll paint all that. Control right click, Control L, and then I just want to select this L, E, separate by selection. You could also select one of these if you wanted. So that's 2 there. Now if you're doing this in a separate project, what you'd do is actually save this. Find the name. So you would bring it into your assets here. Call this lilies, like so. Then you would jump to your other blend. And what we can do, gonna bring that across. We want to bring it into this scene, so just press F4, or you can go to File. And then you want to import. You want to append actually. Append is you accessing another blend document. So I can go up to the assets and select the lilies. And go for the collection here and just select the white lily collection. Import it, and this is what you'll get. So you'll get the white lilies in your scene. These are already set up for materials. The only thing I added was just a subdivision modifier here. So just add a subdivision surface, and that smoothed out the lilies a little bit more. So then all I'm doing with the lilies is trying to create a unique composition here. You could have 3s here if you wanted, and so I'm just rotating the different parts into view. Some of the lighting also is coming from an indoor HDRI here, so you can see that there, this HDRI, and I've just got it going through this saturation node to reduce some of the saturation, so 0.1, and that just removes the color out of my HDRI so it doesn't affect my lights. And then I've also got some Gaussian blur, and then I've just got this big light that is sitting up top, and it's just filling the scene. You can see here when this is turned on, it's filling the background and this scene. So it's just got a spread of 79, 80. And that is all my lighting done. So HDRI or world lighting and also a big area light. For the droplets, let's put some droplets on here. So first of all, what you're going to do is go Shift A. You're going to add in a circle. You're going to name that to droplet. Mine will be droplet 01. This is just a sphere. And then you just scale it down in edit mode. Super small. Like this. You can right click it and shade it smooth. And then you just want to add a material onto this guy. So add a new material, call this water or something like that. Get rid of the principled, Shift A, and look for a glass. Stick the glass node in there. So now it's a little glass object here. And you just want to change the refraction a little bit. You can pick, so you can say 2. Different results. We'll play with this later. I tend to see IOR as more artistic than I know a lot of other people do. I know some people are very strict about, you got to make sure that it's the exact index of refraction that a real object has, but I go by eye and I go by artistically. What do I want this to look like? So I'll play around with this. Next thing is to select your object that you want to add this to and add a particle system to it, like so. And then what we're going to do is you're going to come down to the render properties here, change this from render as halo to a object here. And then you can select the object. So I can select the droplet object, and that's starting to create tiny little droplets. This is at a scale of 0.05, so we can just change this back to 1. We can add a little bit of randomness, so each droplet is a different size, like so. Now you could do this way more realistic, just so you know, with geometry nodes. And there are setups out there. But this is sort of my quick and dirty way. I'd probably try and get it more realistic on this section here, just so that it looks better. But this stuff that's out of focus, where I just want it to look decent, I'm not too worried. So that's why I did it there. So let's go like 0.5 size. Scale randomness will bring back a tad. We'll play around with some of the settings here. Axis orientation normal. Now I don't know if that's doing what I want it to do, but overall it's looking good. And then you can change the number of droplets obviously with this, and then I would go back, I would hide the droplet layer, but I will just want to play with IORs here. So 104, we could play with 1.3, you know, just change the settings around and you can start to see that some of the things that are happening with your droplets here. And then if you want to stick this on another shape, you just select this guy, you give him a particle system, and then you just pick the particle system that you created. So you can give that a name, droplets, like so. And then you can see there, you can add particle system. That's just like the quick and dirty way of doing it. So I'll just remove it there, and I only had it on these two. Yeah. And then everything else is pretty straightforward. So the lighting's done. Color management is probably the last one. Chronos PBR, I find it does colors a lot better. Like AGX is just so flat and needs so much color grading. And Chronos PBR is actually designed for that. You can see that it's image encoding for sRGB display. why it's great is if you're doing packaging rendering, is it will display sRGB probably the closest to what gets printed, or at least closest to what the file is exported as. So it tries to make the sRGB accurate. And so that's super helpful when you're doing packaging rendering. Anyway, this is just a quick short video on a little bit of my process about setting up this scene. This scene took 45 minutes, not the ideation, maybe from, I would say, after the mood board and the sketches are done. That I try to focus most of my time on mood boarding and really fleshing out the idea. I think that gives you the best ideas. And then the scene, the actual execution, this will vary, of course. More complex scenes are going to take longer in tweaking lighting and stuff like that. But overall, you get something pretty beautiful that looks pretty good pretty quickly. You could create more look dev images from this just by moving the camera. Like if you use my lighting setup here, like you could edit this so quickly and easily. Like look at some of the different looks you can get just straight away if you've got my camera set up. And then we can just like if I grab that focus target and I right click and just move this guy. Let's get the camera focusing on my focus target. Like you can see what sort of renders we can create pretty quickly and easy. I'll probably create a light in there. But if I go F12 here, give this a good old render, you can see that we can create better scenes. Now I didn't focus much on the plastic material. I'd probably put some scratches and stuff in there. But overall, it looks fairly good and it's a pretty quick scene to set up inside of Blender. If you're a graphic designer and you're interested in learning how to actually implement this, how to learn the skills, actually learn how to use Blender for packaging design, and also implement it so that you can charge more with rendering, 3D rendering, and then also learn the workflows I use to actually execute these renders pretty quickly, then I've built a program. And if you click the link, the top link in the description, you can check it out and have a look whether you're interested. All right, I'll see you in the next video.